On the charts, and we went through a little bit of gameplay yesterday, we can see that there are different charts to refer to sometimes. We have over here a ball in the air chart, an appeal chart, an out chart, an edge chance chart. So there's a couple of different charts there that you'll have to go to at various stages. So let's head over to those charts now. Just have a quick look at those initially. We have the edge chance chart. Now these charts are all 11 to 66, but you just roll 2 dice. There's 21 options. So you take the lowest dice and then the highest dice after it. So if you roll 2 dice here, for instance, we have 21, so it's a 12. There's no 21 here. So it's just 1, 2, 12. So there's a batsman chance chart, edge chance chart. We have a batsman struck chart. We have a ball in the air chart. We have a false shot chart. And we have an appeal chart, which is split up into medium pace bowlers, fast and fast medium bowlers, and slow bowlers, which are your spinners. We have a non-specific appeal chart. We have out charts. Again, that's split into slow bowlers, spinners, medium pace bowlers, fast and fast medium bowlers. Then we have a bye and leg bye chart. We'll go into that a little bit later. We have extras. Again, we'll go into that later. And then a special events chart that can be accessed via the extras chart. Then we have some weather charts here, weather and rain delays, how long the rain delays are for. So that's pretty much that. They're the exactly same things, but for one-day cricket, they have their own charts. Obviously, people get out a little bit more in one-day cricket. And the other thing that we use is we have run-out charts. So we have a reaction run-out chart and action leading up to that. And we have there's the run-out chart itself. So there's quite a few charts that will be accessed on occasion. Let's go through some of what they do. So let's flip back. Now, yesterday we had a video and we looked at fielding positions a little bit. We didn't go to it too much because you don't need to know exactly a lot of these fielding positions. But I talked about briefly that there is 11 players on the field. There is a wicketkeeper who's always going to stay there. There's a bowler that's always running into bowl. So we take those 2 players off. The 11 is 9. We have 9 players in the field here. Okay. Now, oftentimes when you have an appeal or an out, it will ask you to check a fielder to see if he takes the catch. So say, for instance, here against a slow bowler, and we rolled a 26. The ball flies to backward square leg off the glove. Okay, so we have a look here. The ball is bowled. Here's square leg. Backward square leg is somewhere around here somewhere. So it flies up off the glove, and it's probably going to be an out. But we need to make sure it's going to be an out first. We've got 2 different out types, or 2 different types of fielders. We have a C fielder, and I'll just see if I can find another one there. Might have to go across to somewhere else. This is probably a better chart. We've got a C fielder, or we got an O fielder. So C simply means close in fielders, and O is the outfielders. Okay, so closer in fielders are going to be able to be brought into play here, and then outfielders. Now outfielders sometimes might be some of these guys, but mainly close-in fielders, are going to be these catching fielders inside. So we talk about, close-in fielders. A lot of times they're going to be next through to the slips or to the gully, to point, etc. And the outfielders might be maybe at mid-on and mid-off, mid-wicket. So by looking at that, it looks like a lot of the time outfielders are on the circle or beyond, and close-in fielders are in close. Okay, and we did have some examples yesterday, and I used, I think it was Brathwaite for a lot of it. But if we look at the fielding ratings of two of our players we used yesterday, we have Joe Root in his fielding rating, 2/3, David Warner, fielding rating 2/5. The first rating, again, is the run-out rating of the player, so that rating will come into play when you have run-out opportunities or chances. And then the second rating is the catching rating of the player. Now, most of these charts, we're going to be referring to the second one there, which is the catching rating, 3 for Root, 5 for Warner. Now, just say we roll 25 here, missed time drive, goes head high to cover point, and our fielder selector selected a close-in fielder, and that happened to be Joe Root. So he's a 3 already. We need to have it up to a 5. So we would need to roll 2 dice, and if those 2 dice plus Joe Root's fielding rating added up to a 5 or above, then the catch would be taken. So he's obviously a 3, that's a 9, it's 12 all up. The catch is taken very easily by Joe Root. Okay, so let's roll another example. See if we can roll something lower. That's 4. Now, 4 plus 3 of Root is going to be 7, so that's obviously going to be taken. But what if it's something else? See if we can find something here that is higher. That's a wicket keeper, that won't work. Okay, so say it's over here, and say Joe Root was at short leg. Backward short leg dives to his right to try and takes the upper leg lance. Close-in fielder, 8. Now Joe Root is a 3, and our dice is a 4, which equals 7, which is not equal or higher than that, so the catch is not taken. Now sometimes it'll allude to, hey, you can take the catch if you're 5 and above here, but if you don't take the catch, it's a single. It's 1 run. You've dropped the catch, and the runners take a run because you've dropped the catch. So you just read the description and go like that. Now David Warner here is obviously a lot even better. He's a 5. So if we added 5 to the 4 on the dice, he's going to take most of these catches. But say here we got an 8, he's going to take that catch because he's 9 adjusted. 5, 4, 4, 5, 4, 7. All these catches are taken by David Warner. We come down here to 66 in the outfield at 10. He's dropped the catch because he's only 9 combined. He's a 5 and a 4 is 9. A 10 is above that 9. So the ball goes for 4 runs. He's dropped the catch and it's gone all the way to the boundary and he's dropped the catch. So this is a hook shot, and he would have been fielding at long leg. The ball goes in the air to him. He's dropped it, and because he's dropped it, it's rolled all the way to the boundary for 4. So the out charts work like that. The fielding is quite easy. You just add the catching rating to the 2 dice, and if it's equal to what is on the description or above it, the catch is taken. Now, how do we actually know who is selected for the catch? I'll just grab the scorecard that I had yesterday. And what we need to do is before we start a game, we need to establish where the fielders are. We have 5 close fielders or 5 C fielders. and 5 O-fielders, 5 outfield fielders. And whenever a chart calls for that, we roll 1 6-sided dice, and then we know who our fielder is and which fielding rating we're going to add to our 2 dice. Okay, so I'm just going to pause it briefly. I'm going to set it up so that I can show you how we select these. So as you can see over here on the scorecard, this is the one I did a brief little bit of gameplay with yesterday. Over on the side of my scorecard, or on a scrap piece of paper somewhere, you want to write close infield, and you want to write outfield, and you want to have 6 options for each. And those 6 options will basically mean that we'll roll a dice to select one of these options, whether it's a C or an O. How do we come to establish who's where? So I've got Australia out, and I've got 11 players from Australia out of here. So we've got, and I need to turn that over. And again, apologise, I've got 2 different sizes of cards, just the way I printed the PDF for a couple of different years. But we've got our fielding ratings on every player. So every player's got a fielding rating. Now, there's going to be more catches to the close-in field, and a lot of the players that have the better fielding ratings, maybe they field in the slips. Again, I'll just show you the slips. So the slips are obviously behind the batsman, and they're the ones that take edges. So a batsman edges the ball on the side of his bat, it flies just behind him to one of these catches in the slips, and a lot of the time the best fielders are there or in the gully or point regions. Now we have obviously 12 things here, but the wicketkeeper is not involved in this. So our wicketkeeper over here for Australia in this match, wicketkeeper is Matthew Wade. So we don't have to use Matthew Wade when we're sorting out who's going to field where. All right, so we want to go through and we want to try and get the second number. We want to try and get the highest numbers. So we've got Warner at 5. We've got Stephen Smith at 4. And it looks like the rest of the people here are 1s and 2s. So let's take Khawaja, he's a 2. Lyon, he's a 2. So what have we got left there? We got some 1s there. And they're all run out 2s, catches 1s. So there's 6 of those. Right. So we want to have the majority of these guys as our outfielders because they're not going to come into play as much. Now, obviously, it's up to you how you want to do the order here. But the main thing to remember is there is 6 numbers and there is going to be 5 close-in fielders. There are 6 numbers, there's going to be 5 outfielders. So 1 and 2, you will assign to the same player, like they're your best fielder. If we look at the ones that I've chosen here for the close-in field, we have a 2-2, a 2-2, a 4-4, a 2-5. So if it was one-day cricket, where run-outs come into play a little bit more, I might choose Stephen Smith because he's got a 4 run-out and a 4 catch. But because it's test match cricket and there's hardly any run-outs, I'm probably going to say David Warner is my first guy. He's a 2 run-out but a 5 catch. So we come down here and we're going to write Warner. And it's hard to write with holding a camera. And then I'm going to put Stephen Smith as well. But as I said, our best fielder, Warner, is going to be 1 and 2 close in field. And then we have Steve Smith. Then the next 2 guys are 2 and 2. Both of them, Lyon and Khawaja. So we're just going to put them down here. Lyon, Khawaja. I've spelled that wrongly already. Khawaja. Now that's 4 guys. And because these are all the same, let's just grab one more guy. Let's say grab Cameron Green. And he can be guy number 6. So that's our close in field. Now the rest of these guys all have the same fielding rating. So it doesn't really matter too much how you're going to put them. You might want to put your favourite guy, minus Labuschagne, in the 1 and 2 spot, or Labuschagne as some say. I believe that might be how they say it in South Africa. Let's go Pat Cummins, Hazelwood, Mitchell Starc, and Travis Head. Okay, so at the start of every game, for each team, before they bowl, you'll fill this out. Now, if you're playing a test match, just do it at the start of the first inning, and then the second innings, just use what you've already done. It is a little bit time consuming to start the game when you set up, but you'll need that as you go along in the game. So let's grab the out chart. Okay, so the fast bowlers are bowling. It refers to an out chart, and we roll a 12. We go to the 12. Leg glance take shoulder of the bat. Chance to backward short leg. We need a close in fielder. Okay, so let's go over to our close in fielder. Let's roll. We've rolled a 5, and we've got Khawaja. Okay, so let's go back to our 12. Who's standing over here? We've got Khawaja standing over there. He's a 2. And we're looking for a 7. So we need to roll our 2 dice. And that's an 8. Plus Khawaja's 2 is an out. So we've selected the fielder from the display that it's called for. Let's do another one. 36. Again, that's a close-in fielder. And we're looking to get to a 9. Rolling 1 dice. This is Khawaja again. Let's roll again, see if we get someone else. It's a 4. This time it's Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon again is a 2 catcher. He needs to be a 7. So we need to roll 5 or above on here. It's a 2. So 2 on the dice plus 2 on Nathan Lyon means that it's a 4 all combined, which is not higher than 7 or equal. So he's dropped that catch and they get 1 run. Okay, so say we rolled a 44, outfielder 6. Exactly same principle. 5, but this time in the outfield display, Starc is the fielder. So Mitchell Starc on his card, his catching rating is a 1. So we've got Mitchell Starc under the sky to mid-wicket. That's a 5. Plus Mitchell Starc's 1 catching rating is 6, which is equal. So Mitchell Starc's got onto that, taken the catch, and the batsman is out. That's as simple as it is. That's how you do your fielding. That's how you do your fielding display. Do it before the game. You do it however you like, but obviously you want to try and get your best fielders close in, and you want to get your highest rated catches up here. In one-day cricket, you'll take more notice of the actual run-out rating as well. So here you might have said, I want Steve Smith to be my guy as number 1 and 2, and David Warner can be number 3. That's how you work out catching. Now, some of these charts will refer to different things, obviously. Most of the things that you see here will be in relation to a catch. We've showed you how to find which fielder it is. Sometimes there'll be an edge, but there won't be a chance. Like this one, inside edge of the wicketkeeper's dive. So he's edged it, the wicketkeeper has dived for it, but he's missed it. It's gone all the way to the boundary for 4. Things like that. Sometimes there's a catch. If you don't take the catch, it's no run. Sometimes there'll be a couple of runs on the drop catch. Sometimes in different sort of things, there'll be LBW shouts. Sometimes they're not out. Sometimes they're out. Sometimes there's an appeal for a catch, but the umpire says no, it's not out. So you just follow along. So here, short leg and bowler claim catch off bat and pad, but the umpire says not out. Inside edge onto leg stump, played on out. So he's bowled him in that case. So this will refer all the time to what you got to do, whether it's a catch, whether he's bowled him. Let's have a look and see if we can find whether he's LBW. Now, what is LBW? LBW simply means L for leg, B for before, W for wicket. So leg before wicket. Now, LBW is basically the ball hitting your pads in front of the wickets, and the ball is also going on to hit the stumps. That's a simplified view. There's a couple of different other rules to it, but if you remember that, it's hit, the ball has struck him when he's been in front of the wickets, and it's going on to hit the wickets. Now, there are some rules where the ball can't pitch outside of leg stump, but that you probably don't have to worry about that with this game. You basically need to know whether it's out or not. Sometimes there'll be an LBW appeal, and they'll generally come from the charts, like here on Test Match Looking for Runs. On the X, a roll of 1 to 2 would be an LBW appeal. Now, how do we know if that is out or not? We go to the non-specific appeal chart and we roll out 2 dice. And this will tell you whether it's out or not. You roll one of these numbers, it's out. If you roll one of these numbers, it's not out. And then there's also an optional rule for a home side advantage. So let's roll a couple here. We got a 5. If we had an LBW appeal, the umpire would say that's not out. We roll an 11, again, in the not out. We roll a 7, that's out. But we have, obviously, if you're playing that optional home advantage, it'll favour the home side. Where the home side are batting, it'd be not out. If the home side are bowling, it would be out. So that's as simple as that. So the appeal charts and the out charts refer a lot to catching. They're going to tell you if a batsman is bowled or not. There's an example of a batsman being bowled. He's missed it. It's hit the wickets. Whether they're LBW, I just explained that one. If it's against slow bowlers, oftentimes there'll be stumping chances. Now, I'll see if I can find one actually. Here. Attempted off-drive misses, keeper whips off bails, stumping appeal, front left foot grounded, not out. So let's see if I can find any other ones. At the moment, no, but sometimes you have a stumping chance, which will also refer to the fielding ratings of the wicketkeeper. Basically what a stumping chance is, well, there you go. There's one here too. So you see the wicketkeeper here has got the ball and he's taken the bails off. Well, that's at least what it looks like there. If the batsman is out of his crease, so he's trying to play the stroke, but in playing the stroke, he has left his crease, then he can be out. So say this batsman was up here and he had no foot at all behind this line and the wicketkeeper's standing up. If he catches it and takes the bails off, he's out stumped. So it's kind of like a run out, but the batsman hasn't hit the ball and it's the wicketkeeper who's doing it off the delivery. He's taking it, removing the bails, and there's the wickets. So that's a stumping there. So again, most of these things will refer to catching. Stumping sometimes will refer, you've got to roll dice again. But sometimes if it's bowled, it'll say it's bowled or it's LB. It's either bowled or it's not. It's LB or it's not. Or it will refer to the non-specific chart. Obviously these are edge chances, so they're all to do with in the catches behind the wicket. This ball in the air chart could go sort of anywhere there. A false shot, that's going to obviously cause a few batsmen to be caught. Sometimes it might bowl them as well. So a peel chart's obviously going to be less likely to be out than an out chart. An out chart doesn't mean that they're always going to be out, but there's a pretty good chance it's going to happen. So that's charts. If you have something that refers to a leg bye, you would roll 2 to 12 on this and get the amount of runs. Or a bye. That's a bye is one where the wicketkeeper misses the ball. If there's a bye, there's some rules there to stop the byes. And then if you have an extra roll, so let's bring up, if you bring extras, and we didn't go through that, but we'll go through it on another video a little bit closer. If you roll a 12 on the bowling dice, it's called extras. You basically take the +4 here, roll 2 dice. That's a 6. 6 plus 4 is a 10, and it will tell you what exactly happened. But we'll go into that a little bit closer in another video. So hopefully that's helped a little bit with referring to the charts and setting up your fielding grid so that we can select which fielder. Once you do that a few times, that'll become pretty easy.